Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of March 17th, where this week we step forward into Aries season. We are going to march ourselves into the equinox. Now, listen, as an astrologer, it's cool. I'm like, okay, it's Aries season, and here's what this signification means, and that's very cool. But as a person, I'm like, hell yeah, because the fire energies help us to rally. We think that about fire as an element, and it reminds us we have life. And in Aries, it is, I get to live and I get to be here. Damn it. And this is a wonderful energy. I think at this point in the journey of the year, we have been under so much review. We're still in review. So to have a little rallying energy, I think feels really, really good at this time. Now, we've also got a last quarter moon, and I am thrilled to hear in the comment section down below what is coming to a 27-month close for you, or what are you finally getting your recognition around? Because a last quarter moon can bring that recognition to us as well. Now, listen, there's going to be timestamps in the description box down below for every single day. So if you've got something going on Wednesday, just click down there, click to Wednesday, see what Wednesday's energy is holding up for you, okay? All right, before we jump into our forecast, we have got the Astrology of Transits class that is starting April 5th. We're just a couple weeks away. And what we do in that class is talk all transits. It's all transit. What is a transit? What's the difference between an inner transit and outer transit of the planetary movements? How does your life change? How do you work with it? What happens when one of those transits is making a connection with an angle in your chart? So really learning about transits is the next level in your astrological journey, and being able to speak the language of astrology in your own life. Because I can tell you all year long what's going on in the general, and this will give you a general idea of the week. But what I would love for you, if you would love for yourself, is to be able to say, oh, I'm having a transit of Mercury to my whatever, and this is how I can capitalize on this energy and really move it forward. So that is in the description box down below with those timestamps, okay? All right, before we jump into the week, we need to kind of just step back a little and remember where we're coming from. One of which is that we eclipsed. How are you doing? How are you doing after that eclipse, right? How are you doing after that eclipse? I hope that you are doing well. I hope that whatever was really seeded in you back in September of 2023, you're starting to go, okay, I've got to surrender to win here. I've got to let some things go and start to trust the outcome, move towards my music, move towards my intuition, not always just the micromanaging and planning. Now, we also more recently than that had Mercury step into its retrograde here in Aries. So last week when Mercury went into that retrograde in Aries, instead of panicking, I'm hoping that you are rallying around to see the opportunity of a retrograde, right? Because it gives us an opportunity to slow down, to rethink, to redefine, re-strategize Aries, our direction. Now, Aries, ruled by Mars. Mars is still in the vibration of Cancer. So this is as much of an emotional reset, slow down, reconnection to any direction that we were trying to go as it is something practical. But remember, in a Mercury retrograde, in a general energy, we don't want to do things like make new business decisions, sign new contracts, say things that we can't take back, right? Make new, brand new plans. Instead, we're revising or making plans or reviewing things that had already been going on. Now, if you have Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, or you are at the point where you are experiencing a Mercury retrograde in your progressed chart, the Mercury retrograde time may actually be really, really fire for you, right? It's highlighting this time where you can actually bring some of those ideas more in an outward way instead of needing to wait and pause and bring them in. It's like you have to try them on and do the refining, but outside of yourself, okay? So let me know in the comment section down below if you are going through a Mercury retrograde time by progression, or if you've got Mercury retrograde in your chart. How does this feel for you? What are you not necessarily rethinking in an internal way, but you're expressing it more externally? All right, let's jump into what this week has to offer. So starting off here on Monday on the 18th. So first and foremost, we see the sun. This is a pretty nice connection. The sun is going to continue to move in connection to the North Node here. oh, this is a brilliant energy. And the moon is going to start the day early on Monday in Libra. But then we're going to shift early in the day as well into Scorpio. So between this combination of the sun bringing our light, heat, life, and energy, right where the sun is at, you are motivated to be known or to be in action. And as the sun and the north node come together here in the vibration of Pisces, this is like a guide. Like we are really feeling, I got to sit forward. Okay, we are really feeling called to this intuition, to our evolution of trusting our instincts, trusting our intuition, trusting the flow of our emotion and where our bodies and where our senses are telling us to go, trusting the things that are coming from the space of a higher power, greater power, spiritual power, something like that. Now, the other thing that I've been pointing out a lot, I can't even be in the video without doing it, but how much the Pisces energy is lighting up the vibration of Venus as well. So you may be feeling called towards a softness even in your body, rolling those hips, moving around. A lot of you have signed up for the Venus Reset program, and I love that we are in there together. So if that's something that's right for you, definitely go and check that out. But when we're considering the energy on Monday, I want you to think about karmic growth and that north node pulling us in the direction of Pisces, where we trust, we surrender to win. You listen to the voice that's on the breeze. You listen to the still small voice that's happening within you, whether it be in your head or maybe you hear it from your gut, or maybe you are doing something or someone's talking to you and you start to get this pain or this twinge in your shoulder. What is it telling you? What is it bringing your attention to, right? That is the north node pulling us forward to listen. Now, as the moon is traveling in that Libra energy that Scorpio energy versus that Libra energy, we've had Libra that was craving this connection, this partnership, this friendship, this being together. And Scorpio is like, whoa, hold on. I want to come a little bit more to grounding, right? I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to go a little bit more intense with what I'm being shown. So we move from this space of just even emotionally being like, yeah, it's okay. I'm very diplomatic. Let's solve problems together, to this internally really introspective day. So here on Monday, what I would say is, first of all, we have all this retrograde energy. So Monday is a great day to reflect on where you're growing, and also celebrating in that growth where you're doing so much better at trusting the intuition, trusting what is true for you. Even if it's just you walking through your house and saying, okay, body, tell me which direction we want to go, and then trusting it and going that direction, right? To the bigger things, my money, my family, my marriage, these kinds of things. So it's a great day here on Monday to look at and reflect on where you're growing and have that celebration. The other thing I would say on Monday as well is, because the moon is in that Scorpio energy and we do have that Pisces energy, it's a lot of water. So your intuition will pay off, but only if you practice it, right? You have to practice listening to that intuition and then responding without always needing to know the why. And let's not forget some delicious foods here for Monday. Scorpio, let's go cloves. I'm feeling really good about cloves lately. How are you feeling about cloves as a Scorpio spice? But I like cloves, cinnamon, something a little bit spicy. Somebody said bergamot today, and I don't know if I necessarily would put that in the Scorpio realm, but I do like it. I think that sounds okay. All right, when we roll around here to Tuesday, we've still got the moon traveling through the vibration of Scorpio, but we're going to come into a nice trine here with Mars that's over in Cancer. So again, we've got a lot of watery energy governing us at this particular point. So high energy, a little bit more passionate about what we're doing. Now, I don't want you to think high energy like, yeah, I'm ready to like be jumping and doing my aerobics. It's more like I have high energy and tolerance in the emotional space, right? I can be a little bit maybe more direct with what it is that's coming up for me, what my actual drive is, what's my ambition, because we have a drive and we have an ambition even when we're dealing with emotional things. Why do you say that? Why did you say that to that person? Did you say it to help them, or did you say that to hurt them? Why did you say that to that person? Was it to help them or to lift you up, right? These are the kinds of things where I think we can look at how does the drive work here, because that understanding allows us to go a little bit deeper a little bit more transformative, and uncover a truth as to why we're doing what we're doing, or why am I having that feeling? Why is that ping coming up in my shoulder when this person is talking to me, or when I'm supposed to be working on this paper, all of a sudden my back really starts hurting, right? Like, what is even the partnership of your body going a little bit deeper and showing you? It's also a great day, Tuesday, to just consider, is there something that you have been contemplating, maybe for some time? What have you been contemplating? And today, do you feel like you can take a little bit of action on it? This is a trine to Mars, so it makes taking the action a little bit easier. Embrace some physical movement. Mars is going to be like, okay, if you've been thinking about going to the gym, or you've been thinking about actually getting on the floor, doing your Venus reset program, doing your ball, doing your yoga, taking on some stretching, whatever it is, the physical energy is more available there. Now, I will say, I think that Tuesday is a day that, if you can, because this is a lot of depth, if you can avoid power struggles, that would be great. Passion, super good. But pushing too hard or having that mass power struggle is going to be a little bit chaotic here on Tuesday. Okay, on Wednesday, so we've got the moon moving into a position of void, of course, rest. Let it rest. Okay, let it rest. Let yourself come down. This is a time to remember that the universe is kind. It's not all on. Rest. Now, during your void, of course, moon time, if you need to finish some things, that would be where I would bring your attention to. And I always try to remind you that even if it's not that you're working on a task, sometimes the thing that we can do is stop thinking about all of the things that have to be done next and just think about, well, let me put my head where my hands are at, stay in myself, and let me finish this because I did need to get this done. Let me go ahead and finish it so it's off my table, right? Now, after that, the moon will shift here into the vibration of Sagittarius. And just behind that, the sun is now going to creep in nice and tight and come into a Cazimi with Neptune here in Pisces. So this is a powerful day. I feel like the first 3 days of the week are so powerful around intuition. There's so much water. There's so much going on in the Pisces vibration before we get to Aries. Spiritual connection. This is a great day to dig into that. So when we're looking at it, we're looking at the sun illuminating here, Neptune and Pisces, which is at home, our dreams, our illusions, our higher wisdom, places where maybe we have fantasies going on, and those fantasies can be really good fantasies. Maybe you're reading a little romance novel. I love that for you. Or it can be a fantasy where you are living the sun. In the sun energy, we each hold a story of ourselves. And it's not to say that it's good, bad, but we hold a story, a version, a vision of ourselves, right? Now, is it true or is it not true? That is a question that I think at this time may come up, is like, how close to the real me is that story? Like, are we in alignment, right? So you kind of get a second to check yourself, but also to shape yourself. What is the idea and ideal of who you would like to be in your life? Because where the sun is at, you're motivated to be known. So what is that vision that you have for yourself? I want to share this. When I was, how old was I? 35, I think I was 35. I had seen a vision of myself at 35, and I was on this stage and I was speaking and I had this blue dress. But I didn't just see the vision of that person. I had become that person. The original vision, I actually saw her when I was 12, and I didn't understand the full context of it, but I had seen it. My hair was styled a particular way. I had on a dress. I was on a stage. All of the colors that were behind me, it was all lined up. And when I was 35, I was on this stage and I was speaking, and I was like, oh, this was the vision that I had held, and now I'm it, right? So there is so much power with aligning the vibe and painting the picture of who you are, where you want to go, doing that vision board. It may seem stupid, but if you're carrying the vibration of, painting a vision board seems really dumb, then you're going to get dumb energy back from it. So how can you also align with that? Now, the moon shifting into the vibration of Sagittarius, I think is so nice because it's less intense than that Scorpio energy. It's a little bit more enthusiastic, but also in the Scorpio vibration or in the Sagittarius vibration, we take what we learned in the Scorpio vibration, we see the truth that was uncovered about something, and now we can expand because the truth sets us free, even if it makes us mad first, but then it gives us a place where we can aim and set a new vision for ourselves. So just here on Wednesday, engage in the creative vision, make the vision board, see the vision of yourself, and allow your thinking and your belief for what you even want to experience in your life to go ahead and expand. Now, when we get to Thursday, happy birthday, Aries. Happy birthday, Aries. And happy birthday to the Aries area of your chart, wherever Aries is at on your particular chart. At this time every year, you are having a birthday. The sun is bringing light, heat, life, and vitality. It is lit up. This area of your chart is on. It's active. It's ready to be paid a lot of attention to. But for all of us, we are at the equinox. Okay. Now, if you're in the north or your south, it will depend on the equinox that you're having, but we are having an equinox. We are at a start. We are at a fresh start because Aries is a fire energy and it is a cardinal energy. So in Aries season, we initiate this energy of fresh starts, courage, direction, action, direct action. We are going to call all of that. And it brings this spark, right? Because the equinox is this time where we get this balance between the dark and the light. So it's this moment of like the rest has happened, we have reset, and now we're here for the renewal. And I don't know about you guys, but a little perk of some energy could be really, really nice and really, really useful at this particular time. So let me ask you here, as we're at Aries season, we've also got Venus retrograde here. We've got Mercury retrograde here. What is it that is an old project, an old idea, an old vision that's been going on for a while, and you're ready to take action on it now? Because in Aries season, here you are under this review. Maybe you're going back to a digital course, right? Maybe you're going back to a course, you bought it, but you never really got all the way through it. In Aries season, think about all of the fire and the rocket fuel that is coming up to get that rocket off of the ground and into space. That's what's happening right now in Aries season. It's going, right? Getting it ready to lift off. Now, are you going to be into space? Are you going to be into space? Not just yet. Or even if you get into space, which you'll be in space in Taurus season right now, we are building that energy. Because even though we've got these retrogrades, it's just about refining the action step, getting that heat underneath it so that it can live, damn it, right? And go out and be courageous on its own. Now, the other place where you might want to be building your little bit of rocket fuel up is taking physical action. We cannot underestimate the power of a healthy, beautiful, sexy, well-energized, vital body. Are you feeling vital? Are you feeling movement in your body? Whatever your mobility abilities are you feeling movement? Are you feeling like, yeah, I did a little bit of a workout, whatever this looks like for you in your circumstance? Are you feeling like I have moved my physical body into creative action? This is Aries season, coming out of the fog a bit, clearing away bursts of motivation. Who doesn't want all of that? Now, one last caveat to just say here, Mars is still out of bounds until we get to April 7th. So what you want to take action on, I would encourage you to not be massively impulsive. Go back to the retrograde things that you've had and go ahead and take a lot of action on those without being like, oh, I can't really move to the next step unless I spend $10,000, right? It doesn't have to be that impulsive buy. Work with what you have. All right, Friday, we've got Venus in this sextile to Pluto. This is a nice energy because first of all, I'm thinking about past relationships, past financial things. They can be rising up to the surface, and they force you essentially to face them, to deal with them. If you've been avoiding something, it's going to come up, but it's easier. It's a bit easier under the sextile, right? But it will push on those themes of relationships, finance, things like that. So pay attention also too to where something you've been avoiding that maybe comes up in your face. You have the emotional capacity to handle it now. It's like your vibration is different. You know what I'm talking about? When something used to scare you, so you avoided it, and now you do a little maturing, you do a little bit of growing, and you're like, I'm able to step into that now. And I have this great example of like debt. Maybe you had a lot of debt, but you're like, hold on, I have done a reassessment of my financial goals and I would like to have a different experience. So I feel okay actually looking at the numbers in my life and making a different decision, right? So it just makes it a little bit easier to access. Saturday, it's a little bit of a busy day. We're starting with the moon in a void of course position. It's actually a very short void of course. It's only going to be less than a full hour worth of void of course energy starting at 12:52 a.m. and that's Mountain Colorado time. So just remember, it's another chance this week to relax, to take it easy, to don't struggle. Then the moon will shift into the vibration of Capricorn. Now we're going to become more grounded. We are looking at, where do I need to root to rise in order to be really dynamic and really stable and feel like I have got authority over my own emotions, over my own internal world. Now, it's also a day where externally, you may feel more reserved. You're not really like putting it on, letting everybody know everything that you feel. You might be keeping your cards a little bit closer to your chest, as opposed to when the moon was in Sagittarius, you were feeling maybe a little bit more boisterous, a little bit more, I want to talk about it, I want to explore that. And now you've like gathered this new information and you're like, okay, I can build with this emotionally, right? So that's going to be an interesting energy to carry us through the next few days, but we're also going to see that just a couple hours into the day, we come to that last quarter moon happening at 2 degrees of Capricorn. So really go back to your chart. Where is 2 degrees of Capricorn on your chart? Because as we're looking at this last quarter, the last quarter moon time is when something is coming to a completion that we started 27 months ago. This has already been working. It's already been in effect. This area of your chart's already been seeded. So when we go back into your chart, and we're going to go to December 23rd of 2022. Okay, grab that Google timesheet and go back and see what was going on. What we had was a new moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn. So at this time, you were planting your seeds of intention to begin something, or some newness was coming in, right? But this was just the beginning of it. So think about it. What were you starting? What were you calling in at that particular time? What did you want that was going to build some kind of stability or take you to the next level, maybe bring you out the expert in you, right? Like you're going to be seen as the expert in fill in the blank thing, right? What was that for you? Now, when we got to September 22nd of 2023, we had a first quarter moon that was actually at 29 degrees of Sagittarius, but it's just close enough to this point for us to pull it into this lunar family. So at that time, whatever you had started, now you're in action, you're building. And in the first quarter time, it can be rough because people, places, and things that don't fit the vibe of what you were wanting to build can get swept out, or they get put way on the back burner because you're like, I am building this thing that's going to bring me stability. I'm building this thing. I might actually just be building this thing. I was building a house. I was building a business, right? What is it that you were building? I was building my marriage. What is the thing that you were building? And so you look at what was actually constructed at that time. Now, when we got to June 22nd of 2024, this is where we were back to having a full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn. Now, first of all, I hope you celebrated whatever you built, whatever came to pass that took seed at that 2022 time frame, right? But then also it was kind of like, I have to see where I'm going to pivot and what things I don't need anymore, and other things I'm going to pivot to continue to make a commitment to going down this road, especially emotionally. And now as we're here, in March of 2025, and we're at this last quarter at 2 degrees of Capricorn, something's ending. And it's ending from that cycle that started in 2022. So when you look into the nuance, this is where astrology is a language that when you learn to look at where the string started and where it's led you to now, you can speak this language so beautifully and see the nuance of your own story. You've already been here. This area of your chart has been seeded, but now you're here with new eyes, a new something that you built, new maturity, and new mastery. Now, this can come with recognition, right? Like people are recognizing your business. People are recognizing something that you've done, or you're turning away from it. You're like, I did it. I'm done with it. This doesn't have purpose and value for me anymore. So I'm going to practice surrender, letting it go in a very, very natural way with grace and imperfect timing. So look back and let me know, what was that for you? I can tell you for me, I'm really excited about it, but my book will be being published by Llewellyn and it'll be coming out January of 2026. And I seeded that thing right at that new moon time in Capricorn. So voila, what is it for you? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, at the end of the day, we're going to see that the sun comes into Cazimi with Venus retrograde here in Aries. Okay, so as this energy comes together, Cazimi, first of all, means that they are right there together. So this is a moment of clarity or like an illumination where you go, oh, I got it. But this is around worth, value, femininity, receiving, personal values. And I really think that the question comes down to, especially with this Venus retrograde, what do you truly want? You can't have it if you don't know what you truly want. You cannot know that your life is aligned with values that you don't really know of what you want. You know what I mean? So it reveals these really deep truths about what we value, about what we love, about what we believe about money, what we believe about our self-identity, what we believe about femininity, our ability to receive. This is also a chance that I think as the illuminations come, because we're so motivated with the sun here, you know, you can reassess based on your value. Okay, this is what I value. And from this value, what's the goal that I want? And you can reassess a strategy of how to get it to come to you. Again, you're reassessing because Venus is not a hustle hard planet. Venus is like, come to me. I point my hips at it and then I tell it to come to me. But again, if you're not in my Venus Reset program yet, come on in here. Because if your Venus is blocked, it's really hard to bring that astrology into the body and be clear about what you want. Something is blocking it, right? Even if your head says, I know what I want, we need those hips and we need that pelvic bowl to be clear and for Venus to be shining through there and say, that's what I want, bring it to me. Oh, I love it. Okay. All right, so on Sunday, the sun is going to be in a sextile to Pluto that's over in Aquarius. This is a powerful aspect for transformation. It is a powerful aspect for transformation because the access to the energy is so easy. So doing some research, doing some digging, being a little bit more insightful, stepping into your power, shoulders back, chest out. Remember, the sun is in Aries, which says, I get to live, damn it, but I take on the task with the sun is in Aries to be courageous in the Aries area of my chart. Now, in a sextile with Pluto, it gives us an indicator of two things in my view. One, I'm going to step into my personal authority, my courage, in some kind of social way out there in the new world, right? In the new container that we are traveling. But it will require me to change. And am I ready to do that? Now, another expression of this, I think, is a very real world example is many of us may be finding that old associations, old communities, old groupings that we were a part of don't actually fit where we want to go anymore. or how they're going about getting there doesn't work for me anymore. And I need a new arrangement, or I need a new supportive group of people who are going in the direction that I want to go. If you don't want to hustle hard anymore, but you're a part of that business group that's like, just grind it out and hustle hard, you might be like, no, by personal authority and courage alone, I am making the decision that I'm ready to make this change and find the group that's going to align with my energy the best, right? And this is another thing that I'll say. I think that this is a lot of power. And with great power comes great responsibility. Because the other side is that while you're stepping into your authority, if you're sharing information, you want to share with so much integrity. Like, really be helpful in what you're doing, not manipulative. We're still dealing with Plutonian energy. So particularly all of your people who have access to public platforms, myself, other people you're watching, if you're creating content, if you're the leader of a community group or some place where you've got a captive amount of attention, even if you've just got a Facebook profile and you're posting a message, right? Be clear why you're posting what you're posting. Post with integrity, not the vibe of manipulation. Okay? Now, if you decide, okay, here I am on Sunday, this energy has come, I'm feeling bold, I'm feeling this courage, I'm feeling this power, and you decide a really powerful decision about your future, I would do it on Sunday. Because on Sunday, I think that you have the confidence to be as bold as you need to be, to really make the moves and set the new strategy moving forward. Now, throughout the week, we have traveled through the gamut of your being, coming in early on, digging into the intuition and saying, flow through me, flow to me, flow me to it, right? We moved to the position of looking at where you have been, where the story has changed, and it has shifted through that last quarter energy. We brought in a new season, fire, to help us rally and be the rocket fuel to get ready to lift us off the ground as we're going to move forward and make it steady in Taurus season. And now there's the courage to change. The courage to change is here. All right, my absolutely beautiful friends. Listen, there's a couple videos at the end of this video that I think will help guide you this week and this month and in your journey. And I want you to check out the Venus playlist, because we're having some really beautiful Venusian conversation in there, rolling our hips, coming back to what Venus is showing us, bringing us back to the soft, asking the question of, do you know how to receive? Do you know how to rest? Are you kind? What do you want? It's all in the Venus story. The healing is here and the healing is now. So make sure you check out those videos, and I will see you in the Astrology of Transits course if that's right for you as well. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.